Good afternoon, I'm Robin, and this is Naomi on Cooking Revolution.
Alright, so today we're going to learn about Catherine the Great, who tried to make sugar cookies. Her first name was actually Yekaterina Alexeyevna, but she's known as Catherine the Great or Catherine II. She was not Russian, but she spent a lot of time in that country in her later life.
Right, so she married Peter III, who took the throne after his aunt Elizabeth died. However, he decided to make an unwise choice by ending the war with Prussia, which they were winning, which made him pretty unpopular with the people. He then was assassinated, and Catherine rose to power as the Empress of Russia. She had the batter down for the cookies. She was the leader. One thing that went wrong for her was her use of power. After her husband was murdered, she took over Russia as the Empress, and although this was a normal occurrence at the time, she made a bad choice by looking over progress and instead keeping the feudalism hierarchy that basically imprisoned the peasants' lives and made it pretty unbearable for them.
Yeah, exactly. So her direct disobeyment to Enlightenment values such as liberty and equality, which kind of made the people unhappy, something that you definitely don't want if you were a leader. When you're a leader, you should probably try to make the people happy, something that Catherine did not do.
Exactly. So although she did have this problem, I will admit, she considered herself as an Enlightenment leader and as a monarch, and was able to display those through her devotion to the arts and education. Did you know that Catherine did her own writing and was prolific? She also encouraged others to read and think.
So now this is what makes Catherine such a controversial character. She had the problem with the serfs and peasants and the whole feudalism thing, but she was just such a great patron to the arts, and it really created quite the problem to figure out whether she was a great leader or not so great leader. Kind of like adding too much salt to a cookie batter, but also adding a delicious array of sprinkles and decorations on top of it.
True, true. So we have this mixture. It is a cup of flour. We have some baking powder. However, we have 2 tablespoons of salt, which is a lot of salt here. There's also a half cup of sugar, and we will add some vanilla, and eggs will be added later. Okay, so true, true. But I have one thing that might tip this balance about the patron of the arts versus the problem with the serfs. Even though Catherine kept the serf-to-master relationship in place, she actually believed in liberty and equality. This was shown in documents that she wrote, but was never put into order. This is pretty interesting, Naomi, and I think that we can come up with here is that she was an enlightened and had all those values. She just kept the hierarchy in place in her country because that's the way things were back then, pretty much.
Yeah.
One doesn't want to make a huge deal and a big change. It might spark something that could be out of her control, and she was in control, and she wanted it to stay that way.
Oh, yeah. So this helps me understand, the real Catherine the Great. So she was, actually a pretty good leader, but despite being scared to make that major change. Or, also, she might have considered changing the social classes, but since she had never known what it was like without those classes in place, she just didn't have the knowledge to make it.
That makes sense. She wouldn't have wanted to risk things that she didn't know how they were going to turn out.
Yeah.
So, this is trying to make it like a sugar cookie, and it is done perfectly, except that everything is bland, there is no spice. However, it is very beautiful with lots of sprinkles. I don't know how good this tastes, though.
Yeah, pretty bland, I bet.
Yeah.
Just like that one was.
I would kind of like the spice and change of power classes. I don't think I'd want to eat this cookie.
Yeah, all right. So thank you for joining us on Cooking Revolution, and see you next time.
Sweet. And then we can probably just chop it.